All right. Hello, everybody. This is Carl White, broadcasting from the secret headquarters of the Mortgage Marketing Animals / Freedom Club. And you are listening to Loan Officer Freedom, the #1 podcast in the world today for loan officers. The most downloads, the most reviews, and the most coolest guest ever. So we appreciate you guys being here. So what we're doing today is I'm joined today with Matt Infield. And Matt, you and I have never met. Is that correct?
Yep, never met.
And this is the first time that we're talking at least to each other.
Yeah, no, you had your assistant call me just to make sure that to set this all up.
Nice. Oh, I'm glad she did that. Awesome.
Yep.
So what we're doing, you're listening to the right topic. If you want to hear about how a brand new loan officer that just got his license and dude, if I say anything that's not accurate, you correct me here. You're just now getting licensed, and my note here says you're closing around 2 million in volume. Is that right?
Yeah, it looks like so July will be my first full month license and everything, and but yeah, it should. I mean, who knows for sure, right? Don't want to count things before they happen, but unless something strange happens, it looks like it should be around 2 million. Yep.
All right. So I got a little note from you. Started all this, and it said, "Hey, Carl, started listening to your podcast recently. I just wanted to say I specifically took your advice from an episode to just ask for the business. So we're going to go into that. My first month closing around 2 million. I appreciate your podcast has been so helpful for a newbie like me with a lot of drive, but lost is where to start. Anyways, just to say thank you and share success story thus far. Have a great week." So that's the little message that you had sent me in Facebook. And dude, so here you are on the very same podcast that you were listening to be inspired. Now so I humbly and gratefully helped light your candle, and now you're lighting other people's candle going forward. See how this works?
Yeah, no, it's an amazing experience. That was the last thing I expected to happen on this. I'm really excited about it.
Well, me too. So dude, let's talk a little bit about this. So you're, and by the way, whether you're a newbie just getting in the business like Matt, or whether you're a loan officer that's already closing 10, 20, 30, 40 loans a month, I think there's something going to be learned here. So I know I definitely got my pen in hand, ready to take my own notes. So Matt, first of all, how did you get in the mortgage business? If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
So I'm 24 years old.
Good for you, man. So 24 years old, and how'd you get in the mortgage business? Like, what is it that this is your first month in business?
Yeah, so it was kind of a weird story. I had just about 3 or 4 years ago, I just lost my job, and I was like, geez, what am I gonna do? I'm in college. It's not like I have a ton of savings or anything like that. And my buddy texts me. He's like, hey, I got this job. I didn't even ask him. He just texted me out of nowhere, literally the same day. He said, hey, I got this job I think you'll be really good at. And it was on the quality check side of the mortgage industry, sending your stuff to whatever company. In this case, it's a company called Metasource. Started doing appraisal reviews for them. And I really liked it. And I thought it was interesting. It was kind of an industry. It was interesting because it wasn't something I ever really heard about through college or school. They're never like, hey, come get your, degree to be a loan officer. That's, it's not a thing, right? And then a few years later, there was an opening at an actual, like a lending company, which is where I work now. And I started out at the bottom, and they were like, yeah, luckily I had experience. So I was able to learn a little bit quicker than others, and just quickly went up and through the ranks, and to the point where became a loan officer assistant, and I was able to actually interact with borrowers a lot more, and I really enjoyed that. Like I went to work, and it felt like I was solving puzzles, trying to figure out how do we get this loan that it's not a 760 credit score, they make $100,000 a year, it doesn't fit in a box. How do we get this to work? And it was really exciting. And so I just made the leap and said, I'm going to be a loan officer, and here I am. It's still a little bit a whirlwind. It's happened so quickly, but yeah.
Good for you. And I've always wondered about that. So all of us that I know of, like everybody, stumbled into business. I know I did. And most of us, it was like we knew somebody was in the business, and I knew this one guy, and he always had nice cars and nice houses, and seemed like he enjoyed life. And I said, dude, what do you do for a living? And he said, I'm a mortgage broker. And that's how I became a loan officer. And like you said, there's no degree for this. It's not like you go to college. You can go to college, learn how to be an accountant to make $60,000 a year, but you can't go to college, learn to be a loan officer, which I know in the Freedom Club, we have a ton of people, making between, I'd say 350 on the low side to probably, I don't know, 800 on the high side. And we even have quite a few that are two plus million, approaching 3 million a year. And there's no degree, it's crazy on how like, this isn't like everybody, this is the best kept secret ever. So anyway, so you're now a loan officer and you're closing 2 million in volume. Is that one loan at 2 million or two loans at 1 million? Or so where are you located at? I didn't even ask that.
Yeah, so I'm located out in Utah, over just right in Utah County next to Provo.
Okay, dude, the nicest people I know live in Utah. I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm dead serious. It's just super cool culture out there, and it attracts people like you. So good for you, man.
Thank you.
So how many loans is 2 million in volume for your first month?
It's around, I think, 6 or 7.
Good.
The average loan volume in Utah across the board is around 320. But I'm working. Particularly, I found that I really enjoy working with first-time home buyers because they're people around my age. Lots of times, not always. There's 40-year-olds that are first-time home buyers, but a lot of people, that are first-time home buyers, they don't realize sometimes how much they're sacrificing. They just go with, oh, this person's a family friend or whatever, and they think I can't buy a house right now. I don't have these specific requirements that I've always been told about. I don't have 20% down or whatever. And so I really enjoy helping those people out and just saying, you know what, there's an option. If it's a right fit for you, let's do it.
So here you are, your first month in the business, closing 6 or 7 loans. Dude, everybody's on the edge of the seat. How the frick did you do that? Like what are you doing that's working?
So the first thing is I do have a mentor. He's the one that, said you should become a loan officer after becoming a loan officer assistant. And I do have the advantage that, that he has leads and information that he can give to me and resources that I don't know everyone else's experience, but I don't know if everyone else has that. Maybe they go in and they say, you know what, I'm working solely on my sphere of influence, right? And that's what got me I'd say about 2 or 3 of those, if I remember correctly. And then the other one is, I've worked in sales a little bit before, and I just know that there's always people that have more knowledge out there than you do, and you don't have to gain it all on your own. And that's the beauty of podcasts. So I started looking, and I listened to about 7 different podcasts before I found yours. And I think the very first episode I listened to, I didn't want to just blow through a ton because I know how to actually apply the stuff I was listening to, or otherwise it might as well just be a movie, right? And there was that one you talked about, the car breaking down, and like sometimes people feel salesy and like, look, dude, if I can offer you a tire and you're missing a wheel, how's that salesy? I'm helping you out. And so I just really wanted to focus on that mindset. So I started talking to, one thing I did is I talked to, all of the people that were close to me, and I said, hey, look, I'm starting out, but I'm confident in my abilities. I'm confident in what I do. If you could just, anybody you hear about, or if you could put this post on Facebook saying, hey, if you're interested in rates, go to this website or whatever. And it just, through that, it generated business. And I was surprised at how willing people were to help out. I mean, they were just like, yeah, of course, I know you. I've worked with you. Like, I know you'll do good. So yeah, I'll let people know. And it's just kind of gone from there.
So one thing I have found, man, and I think you've either stumbled into or you did it by design. One thing I find is when people reach out and help us, they're honestly not doing it to help us. They're doing it because it makes them feel good about themselves. Mm-hmm. Like you think of like a birthday party, and whether you're talking about 8-year-olds or 50 or 60-year-olds, that if you go to a birthday party, let's just use the 8-year-old. You go to a birthday party and there's 10 kids there and 1 birthday boy or birthday girl. That when it comes time to open presents, all the little kids are going, open my next, open my next, open my
Yeah.
next, right? So the kid opening it enjoys getting the new widget,
Mm-hmm.
but the kid giving it seems to have even more thrill giving the gift than the person does receiving the gift. And the same true with adults. I see the same thing. Like we have a company Christmas party, and everybody buy gifts for each other. And I noticed that as the person giving the gift is always the most excited about the gift that's being given than the person
Yeah.
receiving it, even though it's an awesome gift. You know what I'm saying? And so when people refer to us, they're not doing it to help us per se. They're doing it because it makes them feel good.
Yeah.
And so when you do that simple act of asking them to refer to you, right, just asking, that they'll actually do it, not just to help us, but they want to do it because it makes them feel better about themselves doing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Am I
No,
clear?
yeah, I hadn't really thought about it that way, but that's exactly right. I mean, and I mean, I do the same thing with friends. I know somebody owns a roofing company, electricians, through the industry, through whatever things, and I love to refer out, and that is exactly why. I mean, of course, I love, the good karma you put out there and whatnot, but it's also, you do feel good helping out somebody as long as you feel like they're capable of that job,
Yeah,
and
of
they're
course,
gonna,
of course,
yeah,
of course. So you got 2 or 3 of these in your first month from your own sphere of influence. Now, you said that you're 24 years old.
mm-hmm,
Good for you, man, by the way. Um, well, when I was 24 years old, my sphere of influence was other 24-year-olds.
mm-hmm.
So when we got 2 or 3 deals from your sphere of influence, how did that work? Did you just like pick up the phone and start calling your friends, or did you message them, or I don't know what
I did
24-year-olds do. Do you TikTok them? Like what? Like how'd you let your friends know?
Yeah, I know I hate TikTok. My wife's obsessed with it, but that's not my thing. But no, so I did both. The people that were my, I would say, almost like degrees. There's people, around your circle that are different degrees of closeness, right? And the people that were the closest to me, I called because I wanted to explain to them personally, what it is I do as well, because there's also a lot of people my age that maybe have heard the term loan officer, but they don't know what that means. They don't know what I do. They don't know how I can necessarily, what it is to choose me versus choosing somebody else, um, and then the people that were the further out I got, the more I would, just a message and say, hey, you know what, because after I saw the willingness, I didn't want to stop at, just the 7 closest friends to me and my aunts and uncles or whatever. I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to keep going. Worst case scenario, it's like you said, worst case scenario, it's a no. I'd rather take a no or somebody not responding than inaction, because that means for sure I'm not going to get business. So
So wait, I'm going to write that one down. So a no is far better than an inaction.
an inaction is a guaranteed no. If you
Yeah.
ask, I mean, even if I'm like, hey, Carl, give me all your business, I'm going to assume there's probably going to be a no, just because, that doesn't, but if I don't ask, then there's no way, right?
It's a guaranteed no.
So,
Yeah.
I was surprised. I mean, for example, on Instagram the other day, I messaged this guy. He's a friend of a friend. And he's a friend of kind of a more distant friend. He's not necessarily this guy that I hang out with all the time. And he's a realtor for a huge builder. And I reached out to him and I said, hey, look, I know you're probably a straight shooter. What do I have to do to kind of, get on your good side to earn your business? And he was like, our, and in this case, it was a no. He said, our lender, invests a lot of capital into, what we do and whatnot. And he's like, but I appreciate what you said. And there are some other builders I know that don't have that. So even though it was a no from him, it was a referral to someone else, and that person might be a no, but eventually there'll be a yes.
Yeah, you need to call Builder Susan or Builder Bob.
Exactly,
And,
exactly.
I like that. So here you are, new in the business. Just being honest, man, as a loan officer, you probably don't know your butt from the hole in the ground, as the old saying goes.
Not at all.
and yet you're going out. What most people do at this point in their career that I've noticed is they go spend all their time trying to learn the rules and regulations and product knowledge. Now, my guess is, again, you being 1 month in business, you don't know hardly diddly squat about product knowledge. What is it about you that made you feel comfortable to go out there and start asking for the business when you may not know the guidelines almost at all?
Yeah.
So what that, talk to me about that.
Sure. So, I mean, the first part is that I knew that even though I didn't know everything, it, in my opinion, right, it would be better to be off with me who still cares about them as an individual than to have all the knowledge in the world. You can go with some lender that doesn't care about who the borrower is. And also I knew that if I didn't know something, I had a lot of resources to figure it out, and I had people that I knew that. So even if I didn't know it, my mentor Claire, he was like, I know I could go to him, and he would for sure help me out at any time, and make sure that any gap of knowledge I don't have, he fills in for me, and I can learn as I go. So
I like that. Yeah, yeah. I've always thought I'm going to spend about 10% of my time learning guidelines, about 90% of my time marketing, and
absolutely.
that tends to be a good mix. So how does it work now? So like once you take an application, like how involved are you in the loan process part? Like where do you start, and then where does an assistant or a processor start, or are you doing the whole thing, or what does that look like?
Right now, I'm doing the whole thing. We do have the plans in the near future that my wife is actually going to be the assistant for some of the loan officers. But right now, I mean, sure, it's like you said, my time is going to be best spent getting whatever's getting me business, and keep doing that, right? I know
Yeah.
I've heard you say that multiple times. The only reason I'm not doing that right now is because I'm trying to learn the whole process so
Mm-hmm.
that I know what to expect down the line, right?
I like
Because
that. Mm-hmm.
I like to create realistic expectations, right? And so I don't want to say, yeah, this is gonna, that only takes a couple minutes. That always happens. This is for sure gonna go through. Oh, we need a rapid rescore. Yeah, that takes a couple hours. No, so
Right.
so that's all, just things like that.
And
But
so, do you have a processor now?
yeah, we have a processor, yes.
And so, once you bring a deal in, then you sell the deal,
Mhm.
and then you turn over the now, does your processor chase conditions also, or do you still do
Mhm.
that?
They chase conditions if they're having a rough time getting
I
in
get it.
contact with something. More than
Yeah.
happy to help out, but they do a lot of the more busy work. So the stuff I'm learning, in my opinion, right, yet again, a month in, I don't know for sure, but it seems like to be the more important stuff that
Yeah. What do you mean you don't know, dude? You've been doing this for a bit of 3 weeks. What do you mean you don't
I
know?
know, right? 3 weeks, I should know everything by now, but I'm a slow learner, I guess.
Well, dude, that sounds outstanding. Man, I make a prediction, Matt. You're going to do really, 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 really well with this. This is going to treat you
Yeah.
well. You've got the right attitude of a no is better than that. Like the cost of inactivity is an absolute horrendous cost.
Yeah.
COI, cost of inaction, or cost of inactivity.
Mhm.
So what's next, man? Like where do you see this going? Like normally I say, where do you see this a year from now? But dude, you're a month into this. You're closing 6 or 7 loans, about half of them from your own sphere of influence. Um, how do we grow from here? Like, where are we at 90 days from now that you're happy with your progress?
So for me, I think one key is going to be consistency, right? I would love to. I mean, consistency not meaning the same exact number, but continual growth, right? Because wouldn't want to stay at 7 loans unless they're multi-million-dollar loans. I wouldn't want to stay at that for
Yeah.
few
Even if
years.
they are $1 million loans, you don't want to stay at that. I'm
Yeah.
telling you. Yeah.
But I guess the main thing I'd like to do is one thing I did recently with this guy, he hasn't even closed yet, but it was kind of that inability, inaction thing kind of came to me, and I just kind of messaged him, and I was like, hey, because I knew he was really happy with the process thus far, and so I said, hey, if you know anybody in the process, it really helps us out to, help anybody with refinance. In worst case scenario, we let them know that they're getting the best deal because of who they're currently with or whatever. So I think just continually doing that. And then the people that do close that are really happy, which I hope is everybody, I'd like to get some reviews from them and use that also for marketing because, that's the very first thing I do when I go buy something on Amazon, which is far too often. I go and I look at the reviews and I say, okay, like, I look at the good ones, look at the bad ones, and I try to get an idea of what I'm going to get based off that. So, and then from there, I guess number wise, it's hard to say. I'd like to just continually grow. I know for sure, it's like a roller coaster sometimes, not always consistently up, but if the overall trend is upward, that's all I care about, as long as it's continually growing.
Yeah. So I tell you, the roller coaster part will stop the same month that you have help. So the same month
Mm,
that you get an assistant, that
nice.
roller coaster will stop. So the roller coaster is not it doesn't come with the territory. Just know that the roller
Okay.
coaster is a choice, and that and I'm people that listen to the podcast know. I mean, I harp this all the time. The only reason we go down is because we stop doing that activity that brought in the loans, and we start doing activity to close those same loans we brought in. And when we're doing that activity to close those loans, nobody's doing the activity to start the loans. So the day that we get help and somebody else takes on, though, once we get a contract in, they take it over from that point on, and we only spend our time getting new contracts coming in. The roller coaster is not a part of it's not a part of my business. I can tell you that. So
Yeah.
just know going forward that the roller coaster is a choice, not it's not inevitable. So it's
Yeah.
just, dude, you're just getting started. Holy
Yeah.
cow, dude! I can tell you, I didn't close 6 loans my first month. I can tell you that. So it took me probably about, I think it took me about 90 days to get to 10. But my first month, I probably, I don't know, I don't remember, to be honest with you. I probably goose egged. By the way, I think it was like 90 days. I did 10 loans. My next month, I goose egged because of spending all my time trying to close those 10. I spent no time, exactly the roller coaster.
Mm.
And it was my 4th month in the business that I went, holy cow, this is not good. Cause I came back to the office literally with a bottle of champagne that I just closed my 10th loan. and, and my branch manager, great guy, great guy. His name was Dave Hoyt, said, I was getting ready to pop my bottle. He said, not so fast, Skippy. He called me Skippy. He said, not so fast, Skippy. Look at the board of what you got for next month. And it was 0. He said, yeah, let's leave that corked and let's work on the next month. I said, deal. And that's when we started working on the loan officer roller coaster thing. So cool. So dude, let's say here it is, like 6 months from now, and you're at 15 loans a month, say by then, which I totally think can happen. I do. How are you going to do it? What's going to get you there?
I think I have to focus on not getting, it's kind of like you said, what you just said there, not getting complacent. It's really easy in the beginning. In particular, I can imagine it still stays consistent throughout, but in particular where I'm at, where it's just like, I hear all these stories of people that do it and they aren't successful, or they have, all these issues, or it takes them a long time to get started. And so to start off with success, it's really easy, I think, for someone in my shoes to just, celebrate. Oh, I'm so excited. All this happened. It's going great. Instead of, just keep doing those same actions, like you said, to bring in the business, to keep calling leads, keep talking to people. It, everybody has a different number of what it is. And I think mine is, I don't think I'm anywhere near that, but I think that everyone has a number where they get complacent, and you have to get
Yeah.
past that plateau and go on to the next one. They say, oh, I'm doing 4 million a month. I'm doing 10 million. I'm doing 30, whatever it is a month.
Yeah.
Like I have a comfortable life, everything's great, and it's just, yeah, but you've never been on the other side, so how do you know you don't want to do more?
Yeah.
So
I always tell people, dude, what if you found out that doing more was actually easier and less work? A lot of people don't understand this concept because, like, dude, there's nothing harder. I guarantee when I was closing my own 6, 7 loans a month, I worked harder then than I do now. And now I get paid on about 700 loans a month, right? Just night and day
yeah,
difference. And I
yeah,
work way less now than I have to because there's no way I could do the same level of involvement with each loan that I did back then. So it's a requirement to do less to
yeah.
get more. I mean, it really is. It's not, it's counterintuitive. But all right, so we're at 15 loans a month. What strategies did you use to get to that 15 loans per month? Like who are you leveraging, or where are you getting your loans from, do you think?
Well, the spirit of influence is great to start off, and I think that, particularly in my shoes, and the thing I realized is, I was thinking about how big my sphere is already. There's already so much business there, but that's kind of why I started marketing to my friends as well. That is because if I use theirs as well, that's a whole nother sphere of influence, right? And it just keeps growing from there. So I figured if I do the same thing with them and with the people that I'm bringing in, unless I'm doing poor work, it has to be exponential growth. So if I'm not getting, if my business isn't growing on its own just from that action alone, not including other things like learning more right through the podcast and just trying to find new ways, maybe, Zillow leads, whatever I have to do, right, to get more in front of more people. But if I'm doing that alone, my business should be growing.
Dude, I've never thought of that. That's a very interesting thing you just said. So you have your own sphere of influence, and let's just say 300 people, just say.
Sure.
But when you close, say, my loan, and then you start asking me for referrals, now you're tapping into my sphere of influence, which is another, let's just say 300 on average. And cool. How about referral partners, man? Do you feel comfortable going here? You don't know, you're brand new in the business. What's that going to be like going to referral partners?
So I completely forgot about that. That's something I did too. So I found as soon as I realized I wanted to become a loan officer assistant, which was, 4 months ago, it's not like it's been years in the making or not loan officer assistant, a loan officer, about 4 months in the making. I started looking for realtors, that I particularly looked around my age because I knew that those are people I'd probably know the best, and I'd be working on first-time home buyers, so probably be around the same age as them. Which isn't a necessity or anything, but I just felt like, an added bonus. And I knew they'd be most likely newer in the business and wouldn't have this lending partner that they've been with for 30 years. It might be a little harder to get past especially with my limited knowledge and being new. Not that I can't, right? I have no problem getting a no from them, but I didn't know exactly what the path was to take, especially before being a loan officer.
Let me tell you something, buddy. So let me tell you something that I have discovered. So I've been around for a while, and one thing I have learned has really surprised me. I wish I'd have known when I was 24. So you're going to get people like me that's been around the block a few times, and we love helping new people. Like, it's one of my big passions, which is why when you sent me this very kind and generous note about how the podcast is helping, I wanted to interview you here on the podcast as my way of helping and encouraging you. So one thing you'll find is that, and I say this is going to sound like I'm braggart, and I don't mean it to sound that way because I'm very grateful, but you're going to find that people that have done great and that are at a high level, we love helping other people, like really. And I see somebody like you at 24 years old, dude, if I was a real estate agent in your area and you would come up with me, dude, I'd refer to you in a New York second. Cause I know, number one, I'm going to be very important to you because you don't have many of me, right? Just being honest.
Yeah.
And the other thing is we love helping people out. And so you're going to find people kind of wanting to, put you under their wings, so to speak, and helping because somebody helped us, right? Somebody in my case, it was Ralph Watkins and Dave Hoyt and Kristen Watkins all kind of put me under their wing. And man, I'm forever grateful. And I didn't know jack like you, right? And so I would not hesitate going to the real estate agents because the right ones, the qualified ones, the ones actually doing business, a fair amount of them are going to want to, quote, come to your rescue or come help you because somebody helped them. And so this thing of, well, I need to know everything before I can go to talk to some great poopah that's, doing this many real estate transactions. That's not true. That'll be true for some of them, but a good percentage will refer to you if for no other reason because you're new and and especially young. I hope it's okay for me to say that because we know that we're influencing somebody that's going to be around for the next 50 years doing this. So, dude, if I can help you out for the next 50 years, I kind of have a piece of that pie. Not that I get anything from it, but I call it the ripple effect, that I want to make a difference. And so when I can make a difference on somebody in their 20s or teens or even 30s, I'm making the difference for a long, long time. And then through that, you're going to help a lot of people. With the help that I give you, you're then going to help a lot of people for a long time, way after I'm not even here anymore. And so, brother, do not hesitate calling on the real estate agents to help you out, and let them know that you're new, right? You don't have to disguise that because that'll actually be a benefit for you because more people want to come and help out, the people with a giving heart. And I find that a lot of high producers have that giving spirit. So yeah, so don't negate that part, brother, if I
Yeah.
may say. So
No, absolutely. Yeah, no, I mean, that's what I'm here for, right? The reason I listen to your podcast is to learn, right? Not to try to boost my ego into things I think I already know. No, of course, like,
yeah,
no, and no, I think that actually makes a lot of sense because, thinking about top producers, a lot of them, are service oriented, right? Like
yeah,
they don't want, I mean, yeah, they're selling something too, right? But they're selling something that they truly believe in. I mean, themselves and the product. And so, of course, someone like that, would have that, spirit, like you said, to take someone under their wing. That makes
yeah.
a lot of sense. You just thinking
So,
about it.
so dude, when I can hear I can hear this in somebody's head right now. Just this thought, just the good Lord just popped this thought in my head that somebody's listening to this today, and they're going, "Yeah, but I can't ask for business because I don't know what to say. And what if they ask me something I don't know?" I'm sure you had that same fear. How did you push through the fear of I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to ask anyway? How'd you push through that fear when the little guy or a little girl, for some of the listeners, is on their shoulder saying, "I'm not worthy of asking for business yet because I don't know what's going on." How'd you push through that fear?
I guess it was just kind of a mindset apart from the cost of inaction like we talked about, which was a huge part. I don't want to downplay that. That was, for me it was, I need business. I want to grow. I don't want to be, even in my first months, I don't want to be at 1, 2, 3, whatever. Like I want to do really well. But another part too was I just created this mindset for myself that if I didn't know something, I was going to figure it out. And
Mm.
it would be better, like I said, to be with me not knowing something and figuring it out in 5 minutes than be with someone who's known it for 20 years, 2 years, whatever it may be, that doesn't, really care all that much about if your loan closes. It means a lot more to someone, if their loan closes, if you only have, 5 or 6 loans than it does someone who's got, like yourself, 600, right?
Yeah.
And that's obviously
No,
slight
I
to
get
your
it. I get it.
effort.
No,
It's
you're
just
right. You're right, man.
And so I think that I just, there's different advantages at different steps, right? At different points in the process. And my advantage right now is that I have time and energy and uh, passion to put into the little guy, I guess is the way I put it.
Good for you, man. I think I froze for a second. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back now. Yeah, you froze for
Yeah.
just a second there. I figured could you hear that though? Am I good?
I I did. I did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll just
Sometimes it just freezes and you can hear, sometimes it freezes and you cut out. So I wasn't sure.
yeah. I'll just have Melissa edit that one part out. Let me just write myself a little note there. All right. Cool. All right. Well, brother. Well, I just wanted to get you on here just to kind of see what your story is, what inspired you to help inspire others that are just getting into business, or one thing I'm getting out of this though is like even if somebody's closing 20, 30, 40 loans a month, what you've proven is, I mean, the thing that I hear kind of you saying over and over is just asking for the business.
Absolutely.
And I know so many people have heard me harp on this all the time. Some people mistakenly think asking for business is chasing for business or begging for business. And it is not. It's simply asking for the business. And that simple little action, the simple little, hey man, is it something I can help you with? That simple little action, that can I count on you for the next buyer lead? Can I count on you when a friend, family, coworker is looking to buy, sell, or refinance? Can I count on you to give me a call? That simple little action right there will make you wealthy. I mean, that's my belief. It's my firm belief. And dude,
No.
you're well on your way. So congratulations, brother, and thanks for helping me inspire both people just getting into it and people who've been doing it for a while.
No, thank you, Carl. It's like I said in that message, like I 100% believe that the reason it grew so fast, just even in that first month, was just listening to the podcast. And I listened to the same one probably 4 or 5 times just because there's so much information in there and you want to make sure you're applying it, right? But I mean, there's this guy, for example, I talked to, and he was like, I don't know if I want to refinance right now. It's just, that's not my thing or whatever. I was like, yeah, no problem. But I knew that I could tell that he did. He just was a little bit weary about, if it was the right time. So I heard that and I reached out to him a week later. I said, hey, there's no pressure, but let's just go over the numbers and see if it makes sense for you. Let's see if we can make it a no-brainer for you. And we did, and that's one of the ones in there, right? So
Yeah.
I think it's just, of course, don't ask the same person maybe 45 times in a row every single day for 45 days. I mean, depending on the situation, but you don't have to give up on it after one ask either. Sometimes it takes two or three.
Yeah. Actually, like for referral partners, on average, our average number is 6.7 times. 6.7 times asking referral partners, can we count on for their next buyer leads when we start getting referrals from them? 6.7 times.
Yeah.
And so I've made millions off that 6.7 times. And,
Yeah.
and it's my firm belief, the only reason why I close more loans or my team closes more loans than most people by far is simply because we ask more. And it's just really that simple. Well, brother, I really appreciate you coming on here. By the way, so it's on record now that you said the podcast is what helped you there. So because of that, from this date forward, I get everything to the right of the decimal point. So if your first check comes out as $15,375.82, I get the 82 cents. I just want to go on record that I get credit for that 82 cents or whatever that number is to the right of the decimal. We cool with that?
All right, that's perfect. You just send me your Venmo and I'll make sure I get that to you. Okay.
I've said that from time to time. I literally get I literally get checks for like 73 cents, 82 cents from people from time to time. Obviously, as you know, with a little love note saying thank you, and little things. So one guy said, "Are you going to cash that check?" I said, "You bet I am." So anyway, dude, congratulations, and man, hey, why don't we give a shameless plug to the guy that hired you? So what's the company you work for?
So I work for Canopy Mortgage, and the mentor I have is Claire Semrad.
Awesome. So Canopy Mortgage, man, it sounds. Just being honest, first I've ever heard of them. It sounds like an awesome organization. Sounds like they have a great culture, and that they're bringing new people on like you and those that have a fire in their belly to introduce to just a wonderful career. Dude, I think a loan officer is the best. I literally think it's the best career ever. There's nothing, dude, we can make football money and we don't have 375-pound linebackers, trying to break our legs. Right?
Absolutely.
It's like, and we got Sundays off, man. We don't have to play on Sunday. So it's like,
watch them.
Yeah, we can watch them. That's exactly it is. I really believe it's the best career ever. And it's just having the right mindset, and just going out there and just while everybody else is thinking about doing it, just go do it. So, man, I like you, man. I just wanted to thank you so much for your kind note. I really appreciate you coming on here, helping me to inspire other people's. Matt, we're going to be hearing from you. I'm really looking forward to it, brother. Be sure to keep me updated on how things are going. And man, if there's anything I can do, dude, reach out. I'd love to help you out anytime you need it. Okay.
Thank you so much, Carl. I appreciate you having me on here. Yeah, it's been a pleasure to meet you. Like I said, this is the last thing I expected. I was just reaching out to you to kind of spread the love for what you did for me, and I didn't expect to.
Well, it worked. It worked. It worked. So, I appreciate it.
Yeah, yes is better than not asking at all, right? So
yeah. So I appreciate you doing this. All right, gang. So that's it for this episode. Appreciate you listening. Thanks for those reviews, and we'll see you on the next episode of Loan Officer Freedom. Thanks again, everybody. Bye-bye. All right. Hello, everybody. You are listening to the Loan Officer Freedom podcast. On this episode, I'm going to be interviewing a loan officer that just got in the business literally in the last 30 days and is closing 6 to 7 loans this month, right? Outstanding story. He's going to talk about how he got some of them, he got like, I think it was 3 of them from a sphere of influence. And so we're getting ready to go into the episode. Fascinating story. Guy's name is Matt Infield out of Utah. Before we start, I always like to read one of our reviews. We're the #1 podcast in the world today for loan officers because of you fine people. And we love those 5-star reviews. And I like to start every episode by reading one. This one is by Dan and Ray Inman. Oh, I know Dan and Ray Inman. So Dan and Rachel, Ray Inman. wrote, if you're new or seasoned, you are doing yourself a very serious disservice by not tuning in for every episode for how to set yourself and your family for real freedom. Listen and re-listen to every episode, take notes, and even more importantly, join the Freedom Club, Dan and Ray Inman. So I know Dan and Ray Inman. They're leaders in our Freedom Club. Great to see them here. Thanks for that 5-star review. Dan and Ray, be sure to email support@themarketinganimals.com, because everybody that leaves a review, take a snapshot of that review and email it to us at support@themarketinganimals.com, and we'll send you one of our Yeti type igloo mugs. Really cool for keeping things hot or keeping things cold. It's got the little mortgage marketing emblem on it, and all the cool people have those at their desk at their mortgage office. So, all right. So we appreciate those reviews. So now let's go on to our next episode of Loan Officer Freedom. Let's go on inside. All right, and then this will be the insert this in at the end. So cut off my last ending that I recorded when Matt was on with me, and insert in this. This is the real ending. So like he'll say something like, "Hey, Carl, thanks. It was nice being with you today," and then edit out everything from there, and then put this in. All right, Matt. Thanks again, man. Awesome having you here. Hey, just real quick before you go, number one, we do like those 5-star reviews. So just leave us an honest review and take a snapshot of it and send it to support@themarketinganimals.com. And we'll send you one of our mortgage marketing animal Yeti type coffee mugs. But more importantly, when you're ready to see what a map out looks like. In other words, we do these mapping out for loan officers of a 90-day plan. It's a 90-day plan, whether you're brand new in the business like Matt is, or whether you're already closing 30, 40, 50, 60 loans per month like many of our Freedom Club members are. We love doing 90-day map outs. And what we do is we look at what you're currently doing, and then we look at little small tweaks we can do to make a major impact with closing even more loans while having even less stress in your life and taking even more time off to spend with your family or whatever those things you enjoy doing. We love doing that map outs, and the people that do them always tell us that it's just a great thing to do, whether they become members of our Freedom Club or whether they just take that information during that call and take all the scripts that we give to them and go implement it on their own. Certainly welcome to do that. Either way is totally cool. But do yourself a huge favor. Find out what everybody's talking about. And you want to see what one of these coaching calls look like. We're going to give you one for free, totally for free. No credit card or anything required. Just simply go to loanofficerstrategycall.com, loanofficerstrategycall.com, and get your free coaching call, and we'll do a map out for 90 days. That you're welcome to take that information, totally do it on your own. If you get on that call and you think it was a total waste of your time, you let me know, and I personally will send you $200 for taking up your time. And you're the one that decides whether or not I send that $200 or whether you think it was like a very good use of your time. I think it's more likely you're going to find it's a good use of your time. So loanofficerstrategycall.com. We'll talk to you when you call in, and we'll see you on the next episode of Loan Officer Freedom. Bye-bye, everybody. Talk to you when you call in.